Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you how to make a classic vanilla New York style cheesecake from scratch. I'm going to show you how you can achieve a nice silky smooth creamy texture without a single crack on the surface. Have I got your attention? Let's do this. Alright guys, so first I'm going to show you how to make homemade digestive biscuits. I know what you're saying, you can buy these in the store. Well, you can do that, but I can guarantee they won't taste anywhere near as good as these beauties. So you want to start by combining together some wholemeal flour, icing sugar, a generous pinch of fine flaky sea salt, and last but not least, a teaspoon of baking powder. Now simply just give it some whiskey business to combine it all together. So as next step, I just want to clarify, you can do this by hand, but if you do have a fruit processor, I'd recommend using it because it's much easier and faster. So to the fruit processor, you're going to add in your dry ingredients along with room temperature butter, which I've cut into cubes by the way, so it makes it much easier to incorporate. Process it all together until you achieve like a breadcrumb consistency. Then tip it out into a clean bowl, then pour in some milk. Now the next step, you're probably not going to like it. You're going to work it with your hands until it just comes together. Your hands are going to get sticky. That's just the name of the game. So you want to dust your bench generously with a fair amount of flour, and you want to roll it out until you achieve a thickness of 3mm. I'd recommend turning the dough every so often so it doesn't stick to the bench, because that, my friends, would be a nightmare. Now carefully place on a tray lined with non-stick parchment paper. If the dough starts to tear, don't worry about it, it's going to be broken to be eaten. Now prick the dough all over with a fork. That would allow it to bake more evenly, making a better biscuit. And you're going to bake this at 180 degrees for about 20 minutes until you achieve something gorgeous like this. Leave it to cool a bit to firm up slightly before removing the parchment paper and allow it to cool completely. So now we've made it, it's time to break it. How fun is that? That's fine down for you. So now the next step is pretty straightforward. You're just going to blitz it up until it's nice and fine. Again, if you don't have a fruit processor at hand, you can easily do it in a plastic bag and bash it with a rolling pin, where you find easier. Now guys, in a medium-sized bowl, you're going to add in your crushed digestive biscuits along with some caster sugar and some fresh nutmeg. Nutmeg is totally optional. If you don't like it, leave it out. Now give it a quick mix to combine all the ingredients together. Then pour in your melted butter. Then mix it again until it turns like a wet sand, so it should clump together, like so. Now for this cheesecake recipe, you will need a grease and line a 9-inch springform pan. If you miss this step off, it will ruin your life, guaranteed. So here's a really quick way how you can line the bottom of the cake tin. This method is great. It's super easy and stress-free. So once you remove the base, simply place a sheet of parchment paper on top. Then it's as easy as this, just put the tin back together, then using some scissors just trim off the excess. Then the base from your springform pan should be nicely lined. But we're not finished with the tin yet. Just hold your horses. You want to cut 2 sheets of tin foil out. You want to cut them large enough so they can go up the sides of the tin, because we're going to be baking this cheesecake in a bain-marie. In other words, you're going to be baking this in a water bath. This is definitely the best method in my opinion to baking a New York style cheesecake. You are guaranteed a delicious cheesecake every time you use this method. So once you've coated the sides and the base with tin foil and cling film, you're going to grease the sides of the springform pan with some softened butter and line up some non-stick parchment paper. That way the cheesecake will never stick. Then if you wish, you can easily trim off the excess, but it's not essential. Now get your crushed biscuit mix and pour it into your springform pan. Now using the bottom of a glass, compact it down right in the corners to ensure you achieve a nice smooth, even surface, just like this. Now bake this at 180 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes there and thereabouts. You want to achieve a nice golden brown colour and it should have puffed up slightly. Now it's time to let that cool completely. Now for the bit you've all been waiting for, the cheesecake filling. You'll need 600 grams of soft cream cheese and whisk it up until it's nice and smooth. Then start whisking in 240 grams of caster sugar. This is way easier by the way when the cream cheese is nice and soft. Now I like to get myself a rubber spatula and scrape the bottom and sides of the bowl just to make sure it's nicely incorporated. Now you're going to add in 3 whole eggs, adding them one at a time, whisking between each, then followed by 1 egg yolk and whisk until incorporated. Then add in some cornstarch, aka cornflour, and whisk it until beautifully smooth. Now you're going to add to that 360 ml of double cream along with some vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste like I'm using. I much recommend it. It gives off a much better flavour in my opinion. Now you just whisk it until the cream is nicely incorporated. Now pour that delicious mixture on top of your cool, gorgeous biscuit base. Now smooth the top out if you wish, it's not essential though. Then you want to boil the kettle and fill your tray up just under halfway. This is called a bain-marie. You want to bake this at 150 degrees for about an hour and a half until it just set. What you're looking for is for it to rise a bit and go gorgeous light golden brown. Now at this stage, you're going to turn the oven completely off, leaving the door open slightly. And you're going to leave the cheesecake in the oven to cool down. That way you're not going to gain a single crack and it's going to be beautiful. Then move it to a wire rack to cool the rest of the way before popping it in the fridge overnight or up to 2 days. So at this point, you really just have to slice the cheesecake. So easily and potentially stressfully, remove the parchment paper and remove it from your springform pan. Now place it on a chopping board ready to slice. So before slicing, I recommend heating your knife up in some hot water prior to every slice. It makes it look way more professional that way. Well, would you have a look at that? You can serve a classic vanilla New York style cheesecake with anything you want, but today we're keeping it simple. We're serving it by itself. I'm happy with this. This is good. The surface is nice and smooth. Let's give it a go. Wow, that's incredible. Oh yeah. It's wonderful. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. That would be amazing. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.